Hey everybody, Rick here for Painting Happy Little Minis here at Game Trade Media. Yeah, wow, he literally was like, boom, there we were. We're on live.
Yep.
Yeah, so another episode of Painting Happy Little Minis. I'm your host, Rick.
I'm your host, Dave.
I'm your host, Rick.
I'm your host, Dave.
Nice.
I'm your other host, Dave. Is that what you're waiting for?
Yeah, it's kind of going with that whole I'm your brother, Daryl, and it's my other brother, Daryl type situation.
I don't know
But it
that.
didn't work out. Bob Newhart.
I'm foreign.
Oh, wow. Oh, now he pulls the card out.
Oh, totally.
Dang it. All right, so we
I've
are
been
painting.
here for a while, but I haven't been here for that long.
That's true. Bob Newhart was a long time ago.
Yeah. Long time ago. You're old.
I am old. So yeah, we're painting miniatures again. We are painting the Nolzur's Marvelous Miniatures and the Deep Cuts miniatures by WizKids. These are awesome and great for your Dungeons and Dragons play.
Yep.
I'm working on 2 Tiefling sorcerers. And what are you doing today?
I'm going to be doing a bit more work on the Dragonborn. So hopefully today I can finish off the inside of the cloak with a little bit of sort of a brownish bone sort of look to it. A bronze, really brassy sort of scale mail on here. And autofocus, curse you. Maybe. Silly autofocus. Anyway, so a little bit of brass on the scale mail and like a sort of deep iron sort of color for the shield,
Nice.
the rest of the armor. And once I've got all that done, I'll be able to work on red.
Nice.
Do some red for the skin. Basically, I'm doing that last because there's a lot of larger things around it.
Okay.
That I'll want to get to first.
Very nice.
So-
And then also, we are going to be doing a contest.
Ooh, yep.
It's not going to be based on what you guys do here during the show. We're actually going to put up a contest on the Game Trade Media page, and the winner will receive right there one of the beholders
Beholder.
from WizKids. But this beholder will not be in the package. It will be painted.
Painted by you?
They could only hope that it would be painted by me, but I'm actually
I see,
hoping that we
boss.
can. I'm actually hoping that we can talk Dave into painting this as part of the Gleam competition that we want to put out there. This miniature is hard to come by. It's sold out everywhere, and it is possibly the best beholder miniature I've ever seen.
Absolutely.
So-
Absolutely. It's fantastic.
We'll make sure that gets into one of y'all's hands.
Yep.
So while we do that, let's go back over to Dave's miniature painting while I make sure we get all the people's
Get all the shares.
looking at this. All
So
right.
let's see if we can.
With the amazing autofocus that doesn't work.
It was working right before the stream. We were testing it out. We're trying it all. I don't know. This newfangled technology.
It's science.
Science. I'm fine with science. It's technology and it's terrible. So, you can't see there. Basically, for the interior of the cloak, the exterior we painted last week with the yellow. The interior, I'm just painting with, starting with beige brown from Vallejo model color range. There we go. Check that out. I can't move the miniature now. It has to stay there.
Dave, you have to paint like that the entire show.
Yeah, okay. I'll work out a way. But, yeah, I feel bad now. I can't move my hand. It's terrible. We're trying something else out as well, is the darker background behind the miniature so that we can hopefully get a better autofocus action. Mixing on a clear sheet of acetate here. So again, we don't have too much other white in the shot. But yeah, we started off with Tinny Tin for the scale mail, and working with some brassy brass. Both of those from Vallejo, from the Vallejo game color range. Did we both just scratch our faces at the same time?
I think we may have.
That's amazing.
That's yikes.
Check you out. From the game color range, a big fan of the metallics from the game color range. Actually, most of the game color range I like. But yeah, this is basically the same sort of color progression as I used for the braziers that we did. Was that last week? I think so.
Yeah.
Yep. So I did those on Tuesday last week, which is the tinny tin, brassy brass, just lightly dry brush straight over the top, or almost wet brushed really. Because these scales, we've lost it again. The scale shapes are very deep, so it's easy to sort of brush across and get the top of those. Let's spin it around so that Shane can see it from the front. Whoop. There we go. Okay. Again, professional cameraman. Yep. So yeah, those scales are picking out nice and easily. So we'll let those dry a little bit.
Nice.
And then I'll come back to the beige brown and a color that I kind of discovered last year, and it's fast become a favorite of mine, is ivory from the Vallejo model color range. I used to be a big fan of pale sand, which is the one of the sort of bone colored paints from in the the model color range.
Right.
Which I do normally use to mix in.
Which
pale brown.
is...
You got it there?
wait, the model color, is it this stuff? No, game color?
There's game color, but model color is, looks like this.
Oh, yes, yes.
But yeah, I've taken to using ivory a little bit more because I can basically add in some, well, take it a little bit further in the highlights. It's a great off-white.
I want to say a shout out hi to Keith and Craig and Carl and Kanan and Chantel, everybody joining us today. Craig says, what I want a beholder, been trying to find one for months. Yeah, we got one. We're gonna get it painted up, and we're gonna show you guys how to enter into that. Carl says, my Elon Musk turning table thingy that I got after seeing yours took a tumble this weekend, still going strong. +1 for the rotary Elon Musk platform.
Awesome.
That's pretty cool.
That's good. I'm glad it kept on ticking.
Craig says, all those different paints, I use 97-cent acrylics from Walmart. He uses the Applewood. Is it Applewood?
Apple barrel?
Apple barrel,
That
yeah.
apple barrel?
There you go. If it works, it works.
If it works for you,
Yeah.
all good.
Absolutely. What did I need? I needed a metallic. There we go.
Went to the store yesterday and spent $30 on paints.
Got 3 bottles.
No. It was like eight bottles.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was out Saturday. I went to a flea market that I hadn't been to before locally, the North Point
Okay.
flea market,
I've been to that one.
and walked around there, and afterwards went over to Collector's Corner, a comic and gaming store here in Baltimore area.
Did you go there? Is it the one in Parkville?
Yes.
Right.
Mhm.
Cool.
And that's where I found the beholder, just
Ah.
on a peg in the wild.
Just hanging out.
It's like, wow. So
You bagged it.
I did.
Nice.
The thing is I'm wondering if he's like got a supply of them in the back and only putting one out at a time, so that people aren't just coming in and buying all of them off the peg.
Right.
Because there aren't any others at any of the other stores that I've been to.
Okay. Yeah, that's good for let's see if we can get that to. No. Needs my hand in it? Is that what it is?
It needs your hand and then have something there. Hold it up.
Hold it up. There we go. So that, yeah, underneath it.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
Boop,
All the
there it
things.
is.
There we go. It is possible to focus this thing.
There we go.
Okay. Now, yes, I do have it there. No, I picked up some whole bunch of paints at Games and Stuff.
Yeah.
And including
Stephen Hazelbaker says, must have more paint. Greg says, I think I posted the vid on this Facebook page, actually. Josh at Mini Painting Studio says, I bought 10 shades, 10 quick wash mixes, 5 plate mail metals, and 10 anti-shines last night. Rest in peace to my wallet. Brad Bukowski says, woo, North Point, get the mini donuts. I haven't eaten any of the donuts there. Becky Alexander, have fun painting today, guys. It's nice and cold here, which makes a perfect day to paint. Absolutely. Yeah. What are you painting today, Becky? Josh says, 5 plate mail medals from whom? Hey, guys, greetings from Hoserland. All right, Jason, greetings from Hoserland. Amanda Vinay, I tried painting my own for the first time, and I did so badly. I need to improve because of my friend has started printing custom figures. That's awesome, Amanda. Awesome. That's on two fronts. One, that your friend's printing some custom minis, and secondly, that you painted your first mini. Everybody's first mini is going to be
terrible.
Actually, it's not. It's not going to be your best work. It's going to be your first work that you will improve upon. And
exactly.
Don't let it. It's like anything else. You're not going to be the best right out the gate. Yep. But there's so many people in the community that are willing to teach. That like Dave here, who I'm constantly learning from and teaches on here. Josh from Mini Painting Studios, Drew from 1 Inch Heroes, and a bunch of others in our group. If you aren't in the Facebook group for Painting Happy Little Minis, make sure you check it out. Yep. There's a lot of good information, and everybody shares their miniatures they're working on in there, and a lot of good feedback. Everybody's very positive.
Absolutely. I can't remember if I've told you the story of one of the first miniatures that I painted.
You never told me that story.
No, I didn't tell you that one? Okay.
No.
Basically, yeah, it was when I was at college. I was first year graphic design, and which shot am I looking at? There we go. First year graphic design, and I painted my first minis. Took some of them in and showed one of my teachers.
Right.
Because I liked him, I respected his opinion, and
sure,
that sort of thing. I wanted
Never
to show
spoke
him
to him again.
Sort of what I was doing. Well, the funny thing is, he looked at it and he goes, Dave, I thought you could do better than that.
Oh.
And I was like, that's
right to
cold.
the gut.
I was like, oh, okay.
All right, then. It's on.
And now, 27 years later,
he still thinks he could do better than that.
I still think I could do better than that. Yep.
One of the things I always say when people talk about painting miniatures and watching our show, it's like, yeah, I know, it's like amazing that we have you here painting with us, because you're such an inspiration to a lot of other people out there based on your talent, and that you're so humble about it. It's like,
it's the years of practice.
The years of practice, being humbling? Being humble? Oh, okay.
Years of practice of painting.
Yes.
Painting.
And so, Amanda, you have a great teacher, and Dave here, anytime you watch, because he's going to show you some really cool stuff. One of the coolest things is the color wheel.
I might bust out the color wheel today. We'll see how it goes. Yeah. Oh, what was I was thinking about something on the way up. I can't remember. On the way here, I was thinking, oh, that'll be a great thing to explain tonal differences.
Okay.
Actually, yeah, when we get to reds, when we get to talking about reds, for the red skin here on the Dragonborn, and maybe on the Beholder. Red is a color that, even though I'm not painting it, I'll talk about it anyway. Red is a color that generally sits right in the middle of the tonal variation.
Okay.
You can put it next. You can put like a mid-red, like something like this color. Here we go. I'm going to switch over to this. So something like this, you can put it next to black, and it's lighter than black.
Right.
You can put it next to white. There we go, the white cap there, and it's darker than The white, it sits right in between
Right.
the two. It's right in the middle. You can, of course, make red darker. You can make it a little bit lighter. But if you're using it in a color scheme, it's always good to, well, in my opinion, it's always good to use it as your mid sort of tone.
Okay.
Something I'll throw at you. When you go to places like Home Depot or Lowe's or any of the sort of big hardware stores, that sort of thing that are selling paints,
Right.
when you go and look at the paint racks and look at suggested sort of paint schemes for painting your house, generally they'll talk about like a 60-20-10. Sorry, no, 70-20-10,
Okay.
or a 60-30-10 sort of split
Okay.
for putting 3 colors around a room in some way.
Having your main and then
Yep.
accent and then trim.
Yep.
Okay.
Main accent trim. There you go. Yeah, let's talk about it that way. There's a reason sort of behind that. I'm sure there's a scientific reason behind that being sort of what's presented,
Okay.
apart from just wanting to sell more paints.
The
But
science of marketing.
it's something that we find very pleasing
Yeah.
to look at. There's multiple points of interest and variety, sort of, as you look at it. But if you check it out, most of the time, if you've got a light main color and your accent is a dark color, your trim will be a mid-tone.
Mid-tone. Okay.
Yeah. If it's a dark main and your accent is a mid color, the trim will be a light color. If you look at those,
Right.
sort of almost all the time, that's what you're going to find.
I'm gonna change that. Next house I buy,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be
Gonna
like,
mess with it.
it's gonna be dark, dark, and dark.
Dark, dark, dark.
Yeah.
It's all going to be dark.
Yeah.
Got any blacker?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I can say all this stuff, but odds are, I'll be overruled.
Yeah. But also, even if you were to go with like as black as you can get, and then a really dark brown and a really dark
Right.
blue, one of them's going to be
Yeah, they're
lighter
still
than
gonna
the
be
other.
shaded out. Yeah. Yeah, my cats will overrule me on all things.
Right.
If they don't like a room, they won't go in it. Then I'll know. Got to change the color
change that.
scheme here.
Only if you want them to go in there.
Right. That's true.
If you don't want them to go in there, you're all good.
Yes. I don't want them coming there and sitting on my laptop. Yes.
There we go. But yeah, so the same sort of thing goes for miniatures when you're trying to pick a color scheme.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of classic miniature color schemes that work in that same way. My favorite is one from Games Workshop is the Dark Angels, mainly Dark Angels green, with a trim color of red, typically,
Okay.
and an accent of bone.
Ooh.
So you've got those three
Right.
sort of things.
That sounds amazing.
And then you can start to mess around with, like, you look at schemes like that and you think, oh, that sounds great. And I can mess around with them. You take the dark green to a black, or you take the dark green to a blue, or if you take that to a blue, maybe your red becomes an orange to mess around with the color wheel. But
yeah.
you still work with the same tonal values. Try and work with the same tonal values. So you'd have a dark orange,
Okay.
darker orange to balance against that.
Nice.
So
You guys catch all that?
unfortunately, I didn't bring a miniature to sort of explain it, but that's what I was thinking about in the car.
Well, when you get to the reds, I mean, you're going to kind of use some of that activity, right?
Well, I guess when I finish painting this model, I can go back and have a look at it and see if I've been successful
Okay.
in that, because I haven't really been thinking about it, sort of the dark tones or all that sort of stuff. But with spin him around there. With a lot of him being this iron armor, I think I'll be able to get a lot of the dark color being the armor. Check that out.
Let's see here. What we got going on here? Mini Painting Studio says Wayland still has some beholders in stock if you're in the UK, so you can get them over there. Or really need in, as it's the secret leader of a rogues guild in my new campaign. Nice. Good afternoon, everybody. Hey, Peter, thanks for joining us. In stock in Canada. Carl Lundstedt says the best way to find a beholder is to split the party, then one is bound to show up. That is legitimately the best.
Perfect. Yep.
And most
true.
accurate.
Absolutely true. That's great. Yeah. A friend of mine, Matt Weaver in Australia, just picked up a beholder.
Yeah?
Yep.
Is Matt Weaver a painter?
He is. He just did a 3-hour paint job on it, and it looks spectacular.
Is he in our group?
He isn't at the moment, but
we need to fix that.
I'll get him. I'll bug him and say, join the group. Post a picture of your beholder.
Yeah.
I used to work
Then
with
it'd be
Matt
like super
way back in the
personal.
day.
He'd be like, that's super personal. Used to work at him where?
Used to work with him in, back in the day in Australia.
Okay. At GW?
In GW, yeah.
Okay.
But,
Very cool.
Yeah. How are we going here?
It's like everybody worked with everybody else at one point or another in one of the many different gaming communities
Yeah.
out there.
It's kind of tough. When it comes to miniature gaming, it's still fairly small compared to board games or video games.
Right.
So, but yeah, so now at the moment, just putting a thin black wash over all of the armor and basically over all of the silver.
Oh, nice.
Pick everything out. That'll just give us a chance to sort of step that back. I used Gun Grey originally from the Model Air range.
The Vallejo Model Air?
Vallejo Model Air. I've really been enjoying using the Model Air metallics.
Okay.
Particularly this one. I'm going to throw it under this one there as well. The aluminium. See, it says aluminium.
Nice.
That's the second eye there. Yeah, using that for all my edge highlights for silvers, because they're really nice and bright. It's the brightest silver that they have, and because it's formulated for airbrushes, the pigment, the metallic flakes are really small, so they'll go through an airbrush.
Oh, nice.
So that just means that you get a smoother reflection from all those little tiny flecks.
Okay. I actually pulled out my airbrush last night.
Right.
Getting it set up.
Cool.
I have some miniatures from Mantic from their All Out War.
All right. Yep.
The
Walking
vehicles.
Dead. Yep.
And I figured I'd maybe give a test on some airbrush on those.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. Are you going to use some metallics for those, or?
I'm going to, yes. I have the Vallejo Airbrush kit,
Cool.
paint kit. So there are a few metallics in there, so I'm going to give it a shot.
Excellent.
See how it pans out.
That'd be good. One of the things you could do with that is do all of the main body color, whatever it happens to be, and then rather than using an airbrush for any metallics, just sponge on chips along the edge, so it looks like the paint is sort of flaked off in certain areas.
Right.
So if you had a darker color, like a darker blue or a darker red or that sort of thing, little metallic chips along the edge, looks great.
Oh, okay.
And then you can go back with some, like a dark orange, sponge that on as well.
Okay.
And then paint some rust streaks.
Nice. Okay.
It's definitely cool.
Well, what's funny is, what's that game that your buddy made? The This Is Not a Test?
Oh, this is not a test, yep.
And I've seen the cars you've done for that.
Right, yep.
I cannot recall where I was, but I took some pictures of some vehicles that I think would look. They're like Matchbox size cars, yeah. Maybe a little bigger.
Oh no, the ones for this is not a test. Are a little bit bigger. Yeah, they're about the same size.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit bigger than the All-Out War. About the
Okay.
same size as those.
These were like a school bus on monster truck tires. It was super cool. It was like a little die cast and then an ice cream truck and all these little. I was like, oh, these would be great. You know, mess them up a little bit and maybe add some stuff to it, or even for like a Car Wars scenario or something like that. They would work really well.
Did you see those at some of those at North Point?
No, it wasn't this past weekend. This was actually a couple of weeks ago. I just, for some reason, I keep forgetting to show them to you. You know, because I'm the worst.
You are. But they should definitely, next time you go back to North Point, there's a guy who has a Hot Wheels stand.
Yes, I saw him.
And yeah, I spent a bit of money there.
Do you?
Well, yeah. I have.
Is it in regards to like you buy something and then you mod it out? Or
yeah, totally.
Nice.
There was one point where I was asking a question about something. He goes, oh, you're a collector, are you? I'm like, well, not really.
Not the way you would hope.
Let me just explain to you what I'm going to do. I'm going to drill through the bottom here. I'm going to cut this section out. I'm going to fold this back. I'm going to repaint it. And he was like, oh.
Yep. It's like taking a Funko out of the box. Why?
What? Yes. You're not supposed to take him out of the box?
No, the collectors wouldn't appreciate it.
Okay.
And what's funny is I actually I did a repaint on a Funko this past weekend.
Okay.
Yeah, I did. So they made a yellow and white costume version of Iron Fist.
Okay.
And I was like, that's kind of neat, but I want it to be the red and white.
Right.
So the red face mask, the red dragon on the costume, and red boots instead of the yellow boots and everything else. So I repainted him up, and he looks awesome.
Cool. You didn't bring him in?
I'll have him in here for Thursday.
Okay, that sounds good. Cool. Okay. Just while the wash is drying, I'm going to and start painting some of this skin. Hopefully this is skin, Dragonborn skin. It could be skin, it could be armor, it could be just a really cool textured sleeve.
Josh from Mini Painting Studio says, Rick, sort of based on your building character, doing a one-shot adventure next month, level 5, 10 PCs, all representing different guilds to collect a new resource discovered in Faerun. Hold on. Think Storage Wars and Death Race. Players have to work together to clear their way to the resources, but they are all working against each other at the same time. They can tell already there will be PvP. I like it. Keith has a great suggestion. If you're new to doing airbrush for miniatures, practice on a bag of Army Men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a great idea.
What's up, Plum? Welcome, Plum Bakova. Hi-yo, people. Hi-yo. Very cool. If you guys would be so kind, too, as to share this on your media, that would be great. We appreciate it when you do that. And like we said, by the end of the day today, make sure you're checking back on the Game Trade Media page, because we are going to be posting up how you'll be able to win the Beholder miniature.
Beholder.
A painted Beholder miniature. And it's going to be awesome.
Yep.
Josh says, I'll be airbrushing some flamers of Zinch today. I keep messing that one up.
You keep not wanting to say it right.
Yeah.
I blame you.
Yeah. I am the worst when it comes to any of that. So.
But yeah, flamers of Zinch, very cool. Are you gonna, what sort of colors are you going to be using on those, Josh? Let us know. I think we mentioned sort of a couple of shows ago that Zinch is the god of change.
Okay.
So very cool when a lot of the demons, the Zinch demons, are all done in transitional colors. So from like blue to pink to purple. And
see, I'm going to have to look them up because I don't even know what they look like.
Right. They're pretty crazy. Always sort of morphing and mutating and
adapting to their surroundings?
Not really.
Oh.
No.
Dang.
Unless maybe adapting to be as different as possible from their surroundings.
Oh, okay.
No, they're just always in flux, always changing. So, pretty cool one. Oh, this red's turning out to be there. Oh, there we go. Very bright one.
So what did everybody do this past weekend? I know this is the first day of the week, and I haven't really talked about that. You know.
Oh yeah.
Like I said, I did go to the flea market. What did you end up doing this weekend, Dave?
That's a really good question. I can't remember.
I do know you said you went to games and stuff.
I went to games and stuff yesterday, actually.
Oh, okay.
I didn't have time on the weekend.
Oh, what?
Yeah. Saturday we had, my daughters had a birthday party to go to. They also, my wife has been also taking them to a sewing class at the local, there's a place called Open Works.
Okay.
Which is kind of it's kind of really tough to describe. It's basically an open workspace area.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, artists, builders, people who create things can go and rent a space, and
so it's for creatives.
Basically, yeah, sort of creative sort of place. And this year they're running a whole bunch of workshops on Saturdays. Like each one's like 3 sessions long, 3 Saturday sessions. And the first one is sewing.
Okay.
So the girls got to sew 3 different bags.
That's super cool.
Next month it's Woodshop.
Okay.
So the girls are going to get to use some power tools and build some crazy things out of wood.
That sounds awesome.
Which will be neat. They're going to have a laser cutting sort of session. Or like a month of laser cutting. Okay. And a month of 3D printing.
Nice.
So
Man,
yeah.
that is super cool.
So pretty good. My girls are 6 and 8.
Right.
So
yeah, what a great experience.
It's a great time to be introducing them to a lot of different things, so they can work out. So we can find out what grabs their fancy. I was unfortunately didn't come to miniature painting until I was 18. So
almost an old man by then.
I know. Imagine if it had been earlier. So many people I know that are like, oh yeah, I started when I was 10. I started when I was 12, and I was like, 6 wasted years of my life.
Oh no.
So
I think.
What are you looking for?
I was looking for soft tone, but this has gotten
okay.
thicker, viscous.
I have one.
It doesn't want to mix.
Oops, sorry.
That's interesting.
Throwing my hands all over.
One of those hazards of the trade, I guess.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Did it freeze in your car?
It may have frozen my car. I mean, it was cold here for a while. It's all good. I'll just use strong tone instead.
Okay. Thin it down a bit.
Yep.
Right here. Actually, if you mix it down with some of the mixing medium. Where did we put that? We had it last week.
Yeah, and it was like, we can just grab it. There it is. Matte white, that's not it. Gloss varnish, not it.
That's one of the other big problems of having
Quick
this
shade wash mixing medium.
Yep, just thin it down with a little bit of that.
There we go.
It'll be all good. So.
What do we got here? Josh says, I'll be airbrushing some flamers of zinc. Typical blue on top, smooth gradient to a rich magenta, then purple on the weird skirts.
Awesome.
Brad says, Rick, did you go to the Adventures in the Meat Hall rain date on Sunday? I did not. This past Sunday, I didn't know they had one. I didn't go to the one last week that was on Sunday either. I'll be going this Wednesday or tomorrow, though.
Cool.
Craig Starn says, Rick, will you guys be attending SuperCon in Raleigh, North Carolina in June? We will not. I believe SuperCon is this same week as Origins. So,
Right. Get me up there.
yeah, the shades. These were in my car. We did get below freezing here recently, and it may have frozen, and it could have just really jacked it up.
Yep.
And that's okay.
That happens.
Lesson learned.
Yep. Never keep your paints in your car. But, yeah. How are we going? Oh.
Go.
So I've almost finished painting the base color on the red, for the red. And then I'll be able to go back and mess around with the silver.
Nice. Brad Thompson's asked if we'll be at Gen Con. Yup. Yes, we will. We will be at Gen Con. Not in a, like, with a, you know, as far as like having the cameras and all that stuff set up, doing stuff like that. We're at like PAX Unplugged, we do set up with a big booth and stuff. We have a small booth with Game Trade Magazine. So we'll be hanging out around there. I'll be holding meetings, and I'm kind of hoping to attend a few panels. I've never attended a panel at Gen Con.
Right.
So, and I've been many, many times, but I've never done a panel or attended one.
Okay.
I'm usually playing games. I'm usually like in the D&D arena, hall upstairs.
Are they huge? That massive ballroom?
Yep. That's where you could almost always find me.
Right. Well, you're almost always there, but
Yeah.
it's kind of too big to find you.
No, I just have to stand up.
You look small.
No, I do not. Don't you dare. Don't you put that evil on me. But speaking of looking small,
Oh,
I went
you say
to
now.
no, I went to the
went
YMCA yesterday.
Oh, cool.
I've had a membership there for almost a year,
Yep.
but I hadn't gone in and gotten my pass ID thing,
Right.
and I just haven't gone. I've been paying for it for like a year because you know I'm that guy.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Last night I went and I got my pass. I did my tour, walked around, looked at all the equipment at the local YMCA. So I'm going to start making that a part of my daily routine, going and getting back in the gym.
Yes.
And just so you guys know, I'll never return to what I was back in 2007. But I hope to at least get healthier. That's my main goal. Is just to get healthier.
Cool. Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for
So
you.
hopefully by Gen Con, I'll be thinner.
Thinner. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. There you go. So we will lose you in that hole.
Yeah. At that point, that might be a possibility.
Yeah. Okay.
You wanna-
touch up some of these.
And funny story as to why I decided I was going to just finally go and get my little pass and stuff and just quit paying their rent.
Yeah.
Or my portion of their rent. I watched a show on Netflix this weekend,
Okay. Which show?
Born Big, or Born Strong.
One strong.
It's about the strongmen and powerlifting competitors that compete in the Arnold
Okay.
Classic in Ohio every year
Yeah.
for World's Strongest Man. And those of you who don't know, I used to do that stuff. And watching that brought back a lot of old feelings and inspiration and stuff. And it really struck a chord with me. And I was just like, you know what? Though I will never be like those guys, and I don't ever want to be like them again, like I was, I do want to have that, you know, when I walk into a room. I don't want it to sound like big-headed by any means.
Sure.
But one of the things, I do like it when I walk in the room and people's eyes go, oh, crap.
You're sounding big-headed.
I'm sounding big-headed. I just like that feeling of who let the Sasquatch loose, you know, in this room.
Yep.
I just like that, you know.
No, for sure.
So,
Yeah, you do. You do.
well, I appreciate you guys saying that, touching me right here in my heart, in my oversized meglio heart.
Meglio? Is that a word?
Yeah, it's like I have enlarged heart.
Oh, okay.
So
So it's a medical disorder.
yeah,
Okay, right.
That's why I don't want to. I can't get big like that.
Okay.
I shouldn't be as big as I am now. But on a lighter note, these miniatures are amazing. Thank you, WizKids. And we really appreciate you guys making such amazing sculpts in your Nolzur's line of HD miniatures that are just super awesome.
They are cool.
And for those of you that don't know, they are pre-primed with Vallejo Prime, so you just rip open the box and you can immediately begin painting. You don't have to worry about taking them out on the steps outside, spraying them with the different primers out there, and you're in it to win it.
In it to win it.
Yeah.
Oh, I've heard that. But no, it is cool that you can just go straight to painting. That's one of the things I noticed at Games and Stuff was just a huge wall that they have now.
A miniature of these?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of all the WizKids minis.
Did they have? I wonder if they had any beholders there.
They did not.
I knew it. Dang it.
No.
Well, the other ones that I am hoarding, for those of you that might want to know, is I'm hoarding gnolls and goblins.
Yeah.
Because, yeah.
You and your gnolls.
I love them.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that the first wave and I want to say it was the second or third wave had gnolls in them. So you had these axe gnolls in the first wave, and the second or third one had a gnoll with like the cat o' nine tails, you know, the whip, the flind, or whatever.
Okay.
And so now I have more than just two versions. I can have a whole army of just amazing, awesome gnolls.
Excellent. Well, looking at just jump back to the Dragonborn for a second. Looking at him. Spin around this way. Basically, at the moment we've got the yellow is kind of the brightest color, and the red and the silver kind of competing
For that mid-tone?
So what I'm going to do is hit the silver with another black wash.
Okay.
To knock it back even further.
Okay, to make it the
dark.
trim.
Yeah. No, it's going to be the dark. It's going to be
the focus color. Okay.
The main color.
All right.
Because there's a lot of it. But so you can do that sort of thing as you're painting, make an adjustment halfway through.
Nice. Josh, you need to go to Gen Con. Yeah, Brad, we'll see you there. Keith says he's painting Death Knights. It's always Death Knights. No one ever paints the Happy Bunny Flower Knights. Yeah, Josh says I'm trying to get to Gen Con as well. Need to Airbnb a place. Awesome. We'd love to see you there. Matt says, hey guys, great job so far. Sorry if you guys have answered this before, but do you have any tricks for painting eyes? I always have a tough time with them. I actually was going to talk about this because eyes are one of my most difficult things to do as well.
Would you like to see my trick?
I would love to see your trick.
Okay, I'm going to pull this over for a sec. And just because I've got some of the colors here on the paint table, I'll just use these. So we can try the, try with that cam. A couple of things. To practice painting eyes, I always recommend just repetition. Repetition. Obviously, you don't want to go through and ruin the eyes on a whole army bag full of army men bag. But just to paint them, to paint little eyes, pair of eyes, on a piece of paper or on your palette.
Okay.
Okay. At the moment, I'm just using that ivory color. You can use white or ivory is a good one because generally nobody's eyes are sort of gleaming white.
Right.
So you just go through and you practice painting your eyes. Obviously, these are a lot bigger than that would be normally on a miniature, but it's all about the practice.
Right.
On a regular miniature, like a 28mm miniature, your eyes might be about this sort of size. It's nice and tiny there.
Yeah.
Where'd I put that black? Oh. It's hiding from me. It's going to get a little bit of brown then. And okay, using this brown here. The toughest part of painting eyes is getting them to line up. Everybody can do googly eyes.
Right.
Looking at all sorts of different ways. So I always recommend people start by looking to the side. So, John, if you can just switch to the front cam. So, look at me if I'm looking to the side.
Okay.
Where are my pupils?
Your pupils are off to the left, or to your left. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So, we just paint the pupils in the corner of the eye. Okay? So, just hold that up for a second.
Okay. Yeah.
You see the pupils in the corner of the eye there?
I do. Yeah.
So, you paint them there, you practice that for a little bit, and what that gives a look at the miniature looking off to the side.
Right.
So make sure you have it looking off to the sort of an appropriate side.
Sure. Not this one this way and that one that way.
Yeah, you've got to have both on the right, on the correct, not correct, on the same side.
Right.
But it's one of those things like if the head is looking one direction.
Great band.
I'm done.
Oh, wow. Wow. At least I didn't say Nickelback.
That reminds me, you owe me 5 cents.
Dang it.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. So practice that. Practice putting the pupils, or I guess it's the iris, close to those corners of the eye. And as you practice, you'll get more and more confident bringing them out a little bit further until you're putting them in the middle of the eye.
Where they belong.
Well, if it's looking forward.
Right.
Yeah.
So actually, while you're doing that, I have not yet painted the eyes on my tiefling.
Right.
So I'm going to give this a
shot.
A shot.
Yep. One thing I'm going to say as well is when we're looking at the eyes, painting those there, most of the time, people's eyelids or their eyebrows, and if they have heavy brows, in my case, for example, they come down and cut across the iris, which is the colored part of the eye. So rather than trying to paint your iris in the center of the eye, like that, you only really see that sort of look if somebody's really surprised.
Right.
So unless you want to have a surprised miniature. Surprised miniatures are fine, but like when you're going...
All the time?
Because normally you will not see the white above the iris. Right. It'll just be below it. So that means you paint the top of the eye like that. So just hold that up quickly.
Aha.
Yeah.
All right.
And if you want to be really, really surprised, you paint them down the bottom.
Aha.
Oh, sorry, this one here. Yep.
Okay.
So that's just a couple of tricks there. And of course, they're going to be smaller than that on most miniatures. Just practice. Go along, practice, practice, practice. Start in the corners, slowly move across. Yeah? Does that sound reasonable?
It sounds perfect. I'm actually...
Now, Dave, let me ask you something along those lines. I mean, I'm guessing a lot of times where you paint the eyes could be contingent upon the model itself and where the head is placed, where it's looking, the position of its body, correct?
Yep. Yep, absolutely so. It really depends on the sculpt as well. A lot of sculpts are very detailed around the face, but so you might see something that looks like an eyeball, but it might actually be an eyelid.
Right.
You got to. That's another trick to getting eyes painted so that they aren't googly, they aren't sort of cross-eyed. Is you have your model winking.
Really?
You just don't paint one of the eyes.
Ah.
Yeah, you just leave it the sort of the flesh color, whichever.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen.
So you can have your model winking at you. Then it doesn't matter where you paint the other one, right?
Right.
See?
Nice.
But yeah, one of the things. Let me find a color that will show up against the thing. Actually, yeah, I'm going to use this brown beige to show you as well. Sometimes if you find that you've painted sort of the iris, your eye color, be it brown or blue or black, up onto sort of the flesh, so you've taken it too far off the eye. Mm-hmm. You can just come back with the flesh color that you've used, or a darker version of the flesh color, and just paint sort of across the top there. Let's have a look there. Oh, can't really see.
Oh, I see what you're doing.
Yep.
Yeah.
So if you can go back to the front cam, Johnny. So basically it's, sometimes people will paint the irises and they end up going up onto the eyelid, or maybe coming down onto the lower eyelid. You can just go back and paint with your sort of a darker flesh tone under the eye or over the eye, just to clean that up. It works regardless of sort of what flesh color you're using. So, yeah, I'll just while we've got that there, I'll paint that guy. So, paint it underneath there. Jeez. Right. So, that's my tips.
That's a good one.
Those are my tips on painting eyes. But practice, it's all about practice. Practice, practice, practice. And if you're just painting on your...
This has been another episode of Taylor's Tips.
Taylor's Tips. Ha ha ha. But, and the best tip is practice, but just painting it on your palette as you're going through and doing it, before you get stuck into sort of painting the thing. And also, when you have it, where do those kids go?
They're over there on the couch.
Oh.
As kids will want to be.
Here we go.
Doing.
Thanks very much, Shang. I'll show you the eyes on these. Because these are tiny eyes.
They are tiny eyes.
And when we blow them up really big, so there we go. Actually, I'll put them down just here. How's that, Shane? Is that all right? All right. But yeah, so you get to see those, and when we zoom in really close, you get to see that they don't look as sort of nice and neat and sharp as
right.
You'd hope. But from a distance, they look fine. When they're on the gaming table.
Which is where,
where you want them.
Curses. Pulled a Rick.
You pulled a Rick?
Yeah.
Oh, you stuck your hand in the paint?
Yeah.
It's been a while since you've done that.
Yes. Yeah.
So, okay. So I'm going to go back to darkening up the armor plating here. One of the things I'm going to do is mix in to the wash a little bit of P3 coal black. So, oh, there we go. Turn around. There we go. So you can see the eyes there. But and those ones were tidied up with a little bit of extra flesh back under the eyes on the sort of top of the cheeks. But yeah.
All right, we'll put oh boy on the spinner.
You got on the spinner there? Oh, cool. That's the
Tiefling Sorcerer, the higher level one.
The higher level one, though.
Yeah.
I was going to say, the one who just leveled up.
Oof. All right. Brad Bukowski asks, does that mean you won't be priming figures in my work area anymore, Rick? That does not mean that at all, sadly. We'll be painting something much larger today. James, hey, just a quick pop-up. Work is busy today. All right, James, welcome.
Hey, James. Cool.
Hey, Chris. Nice to see you.
That flame effect you did looks really good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Chris says it was a good idea for a live stream. We appreciate that. We've actually been doing this since last January. It's crazy. Been doing this for a year now.
It seems like since November.
Well, that's you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. I've been doing this since last January.
I get it now.
Jesus.
Well, didn't begin
And
in
not to
November.
mention, we're coming up on 100 episodes soon.
Already?
Oh, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Jesus. That's ridiculous. 100 episodes of this? And only 10 people have watched it?
James, Josh,
Drew,
Cannon.
Kane, so many of you guys. We do appreciate it. We really do. And that's why we want to be able to throw out a few little contests as they were. So the first one we're going to put together again is make sure you are watching the Facebook page, because this particular beholder miniature will get painted and somebody will win it, and it's going to look awesome, and it'll be a great piece to have as part of your miniature collection and using in gameplay, and we'd love to see it used in gameplay once it's awarded to somebody.
Yep.
So
That'd be cool. And we have another big competition coming up after that. Yeah.
that's right. I'm not sure which one we're going to do yet.
I think
Because
we won't mention it just yet. We
Yeah.
need to wait. We want to make sure we have it in hand before we
yeah.
start telling people. But it should be pretty cool.
Mike Malone says, great look, guys. First time here, really enjoying it. Thank you, Mike. We appreciate you joining us. Steve Shin, wow, just found you. Great tips. Thank you. Thank you very much, Steve, and welcome. Steven says, time flies when you're having fun. That's a fact. Uncanny Nerd, what's up, buddy? Thanks for joining us. Looks great, guys. Shelby checking in. I'm a silent watcher. Oh, shoot. How long you been silent watching us, Shelby? You probably watched like every episode and hasn't said anything, which is fine, which is great. We hope that if you are painting, that you are learning some stuff and adding it to your toolbox.
Yeah.
Carl says, no, Carl, this is just like Romper Room. She never saw me in her mirror. You may be old if you get this. I get it. But Carl, you are always going to show up in the mirror, man. You are always around, and we love having you here. Thank you. So we're getting close to our hour. So a couple things. Make sure you go to your local game store, pick up some Nolzor's Marvelous Miniatures and/or Deep Cuts Pathfinder miniatures, which are all part of the WizKids unpainted, pre-primed with Vallejo Prime miniatures.
Yep.
They're amazing. And become part of the community at your local game store with the painting, with all the other stuff.
Let's put that guy up.
Okay, absolutely. We're going to put him up there so you guys can check him out.
Yep.
Bring the Tiefling back.
We'll see how that.
Oh.
Don't knock him.
He's been drinking at the tavern. But yeah, he looks great.
That blue light is sparkling off the wash.
I love it.
But you can see that the metallics, like the silvers look a lot darker now.
Yeah, they do. They look great.
So
That cloak is really just freaking awesome. As it comes around to everybody, you can see that it has the wear on the bottom of it, so this guy's been out in the wilds, and adventuring, and it's so good. So back to the store.
Sorry.
No. The miniature is important because this looks amazing, and we want to put some highlight on it. But we're at the end of our time, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow. Cool.
We also have a Facebook group for Painting Happy Little Minis. We'd love you guys to join us there.
Yep.
In that group, we have a lot of talented painters and a lot of new painters too that are showing off their skills, asking and answering questions for everybody that needs to learn a new technique or wants to learn how to shade this way or how to do eyes or how to do other things. Ask your questions. That community there is also extremely valuable to, again, up your game.
Yep, very definitely. Loads of great ideas there. Some of the stuff that we're going to be painting later this year, Rick and I have already talked about stuff that, like, for example, that Josh has had on his live stream, ways of painting white.
Right.
I've got a different way of painting white. We're going to be painting quite a bit of white soon in a couple of weeks.
That's correct.
So,
a lot of white in these miniatures coming up.
We might see if we can get Drew back in to
That would be
paint some
great.
more white.
Absolutely. He's really good at it as well. And I still got to give him his trophy.
Yeah, the golden brush.
The golden brush. Yeah,
that has been months now.
It has. Toothpick for the irises.
Yep, that's another way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
There's also the katana brush from Games and Gears. It's really good.
The very fine point silicone,
tip.
So it just takes a dot of paint from your palette.
Yeah, there it is. All right, everybody. Again, we appreciate you joining us. We appreciate you sharing us, and we look forward to seeing you guys on Thursday. We're going to be back here painting again.
Yep.
And I'm Rick.
And I'm Dave.
And this has been Painting Happy Little Minis, and we'll see you at the game store.
Thanks for watching Painting Happy Little Minis. If you liked it, leave a like and a comment below, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any new content.